Hey Canucks fans, I hope you are well. The Canucks are enjoying a day off today in Chicago, preparing for the Chicago Blackhawks, a day after beating the Washington Capitals 3-2 in overtime. JT Miller, the recipient, the benefactor of a horrible turnover by Washington with 5 seconds left in the extra frame. So yes, the Canucks won 3-2. They're enjoying a day off, and then tomorrow they play their final game of their 5-game road trip against the Connor Bedard-less Chicago Blackhawks. Yes, Bedard all skating. He's in a non-contact jersey at Blackhawks practice today, so certainly don't expect him to play tomorrow against the Vancouver Canucks. Canucks are 2-1-1 on this road trip. I predict the 3-1-1, and so if they beat Chicago tomorrow, as they should, they will come home with seven out of a possible 10 points. Before I get to today's roster news, today's Canucks news, wanted to thank everyone for joining me, especially on last night's live stream. What was supposed to end at 12:15 after we gave away a pair of tickets went all the way to 1 a.m. because mostly because of your generosity. You guys kept giving donations, and I couldn't get off the stream. And then I said, well, heck, you guys have given me so much, been so generous. We actually played, we had a bonus game last night. So last night's stream was a 2-hour stream. If you have time, I invite you to check it out. Okay, today's roster news, kind of, I wouldn't say it's minor, but it's not major either. I'll just say it. Carson Soucy placed on the injured reserve list. Now, I think not long-term injury reserve, so injury reserve. He got hurt at the end of January after coming back at the start of January. And I think he came back from a lower body injury, if I wasn't mistaken. And then he came back, and I believe, did he block a shot or take a shot off his hand? I don't even know anymore. Like, poor guy's been injured quite a bit. We miss him. He's a good player. He's a definitely top 4 defenseman on our blue line. But yeah, when he got injured at the end of January, they were talking about the end of February as maybe a timeline for his return. So by the Canucks putting him on injured reserve today, it does a couple things. So injured reserve means that he'll be out for at least 7 days. So you're saying, well, Clay, why, if he got injured at the end of January, why didn't you just put him on injured reserve at the start, as soon as he got hurt? Well, I think it's a couple of things. I think they're making sure that he was indeed going to be out as long as he is. And the more important thing is there was no cap savings to do so, because when you have a player on injured reserve, yes, you can replace him on the roster. He doesn't take up a roster spot, but his cap hit still applies. His cap applies to the cap hit. So I think Carson Soucy makes $3 million or whatever. So that will be on our books for $3 or $4 million. That will be on our books for while he's on injured reserve. It's only when someone moves to long-term injury reserve, and it's kind of a misnomer. It's not even a separate list. It's more of a cap function. Once you're on LTIR, then you get a bit of cap relief depending on how close you are to the cap and how much the player's salary is. But then you're out for minimum 24 days and 10 games. So my guess is they want to keep it open in that Carson Soucy might return prior to those 24 days, 10 games, especially from now. And they don't really need the cap relief right now. They might want to save that for later. So that's why Carson Soucy, he was just kind of injured but still on our roster, and now they've officially at least made a move. They've put him on our injured reserve. Once again, his cap does count towards our salary cap, but his spot does not count. So that's why when someone goes on injured reserve, you can replace that player on the roster. Now, to that end, the Canucks did call up Jett Woo from the Abbotsford Canucks, not Christian Wolanin, not Akito Hirose, not Cole McWard, but they called, not Matt Irwin, but they called up Jett Woo. And as much as many people want to see Jett Woo play, remember, he was the same draft year as Quinn Hughes. We've seen what Quinn Hughes has done as the first round pick. Jett Woo's kind of being the forgotten man as the second round pick from that year. But just because he got called up, don't presume that he's going to play, because Noah Juleson and Mark Friedman were our third pairing yesterday, and they were quite good, actually. Juleson played just under 50 minutes. Friedman played 11 minutes, and they were fine. They didn't get scored on, as opposed to Cole and Myers. So Friedman played fine. So, and the fact that Jett Woo's a right-hander, along with Hronek, Myers, Juleson, and Friedman. Friedman was playing on his offside. It'd be different if Jett Woo was left-handed. It's actually funny. It's interesting, I should say, that the Canucks didn't call up a left-hander, because that means they must be fine with Juleson and Friedman playing together on that third pairing. Jett Woo will dress as the 7th defenseman, be there for on an emergency basis, but I certainly don't expect him to play, especially because this is going to be temporary. You watch Zadorov, he'll serve the second game of his 2-game suspension tomorrow night, and then boom, he'll be ready to play again on Thursday when the Canucks return on to face the Red Wings. Probably good timing for Zadorov to come back, because that's probably going to be a feisty game like it was on Saturday. And then I fully expect Jett Woo to be sent back to Abbotsford on Thursday when Zadorov has finished serving his suspension. So that's what I mean. So it's good for Jett Woo. He can at least get 1 or 2 practices in with the big club, and there certainly is no harm in that. It's actually really good experience for some of these AHLers, especially if you expect that Jett Woo is not going to actually play on this team. But it's good experience to be kind of like a pro, a Vancouver Canucks pro for a couple of days and get that experience and learn from guys. Now, he's having a decent season. He's played in 42 of Abbotsford 44 games this year. He has 16 points. He has 5 goals, 11 assists, 16 points, -2, 39 penalty minutes. So he basically gets a penalty minute a game, or probably 2 every 2 games. You can't really get 1 point. You know what I mean? You can't get a penalty minute in a single penalty minute. So he's playing well. He's got the second highest scoring defenseman on the Abbotsford Canucks, only behind Christian Wolanin. And I don't know if Wolanin's hurt or whatever right now, because like I said, it's kind of surprised me that they bring up another right shot defenseman. So not including Soucy, who's hurt, not including Zadorov, who's serving a suspension. Both those guys are lefties. Right now with Woo, you have 5 righties and 2 lefties. So maybe someone tell me something I don't know. Is Christian Wolanin hurt right now? Is that why he wasn't the first option? Because Wolanin has played only 32 games in Abbotsford as opposed to Jett Woo, who's played 42. So once again, the biggest news, Carson Soucy placed on injured reserve. That means he's going to be there for at least another 7 days. My guess is going to be a lot longer than that. He does not take up a roster spot, but his salary does count against the Canucks cap hit. Jett Woo gets called up from Abbotsford. He becomes our 7th defenseman, but I don't expect him to play tomorrow, and I fully expect him to be sent back down when Zadorov is reinstated on Thursday, bringing the Canucks back to a 7 defenseman. Then Zadorov goes in, and likely Mark Friedman then comes out of the lineup. But then Friedman becomes your extra defenseman and not Jett Woo. So Canucks fans, I don't know if there's much to react to here, but maybe you want to react to Carson Soucy's injury, the fact that he's on IR officially now. Maybe your thoughts about Jett Woo. Do you remember when he got drafted? Are you disappointed? Do you think he'll ever get to play meaningful games in the NHL? Whatever you want to talk about, put it in the comment section down below, and I'll be happy to read, react, and reply. Tonight, it's Canucks After Dark at 10, and then 11:15 games night with me. Going to go for a much shorter night tonight than we had last night. Certainly not going to go for 2 hours tonight, because I am feeling it today. And for those of you who are on my stream and are asking, I did make it to my office in time for my 7 a.m. meeting. So it was a bit rough, but we made it work. Canucks fans, thanks for your support as always. Thank you to my sponsors, Van City Experts Real Estate, Perform, Transform, Personal Training, Weight Loss. Thank you, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Carol Bovelander, legendary Andrew Chang. Thanks, Hall of Fame and franchise members, for your support. Thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. On your way out, like the video, subscribe to this channel. You can leave a donation, you can become a member, you can upgrade your membership, and leave me a comment. Your thoughts on Jett Woo being called up. Will it amount to anything? Will he amount to anything on the Canucks, Vancouver Canucks roster in the next couple of years? Let me know in the comments below. See you tonight, 10 o'clock for Canucks After Dark, 11:15 right here on this channel for my games night. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. God bless, and go Canucks go.